The toilets plugged up. I took the orders, I filled them, I shipped them, and then I'd get on the plane Friday afternoon and fly anywhere there was 6 people and teach and do that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and be home to take all 11 orders Monday morning. And that's how it started, and that's how I do it. And so when I talk to folks and I sit with my team at home, you know, and I watch, and I think it's easy for me to know because I've been there, I've done it. And it was an amazing transformation with the growth. As it went forward, there were some really difficult days naturally, but what's amazing is so many of our members that started with me back in '89 that are still in Young Living today, that it's just a testament to what we really have and what we are. And it's been beautiful to watch that growth and watch it happen and watch the transformation. When Mary joined Young Living, it was kind of interesting because she was a distributor a year before I met her. And I kept hearing these rumors about this Mary Billeter that came over from Sunrider and really knew a lot about marketing and that I need to hire her. And I didn't have good marketing talent at that time, and so one of my employees got her on the phone and came and got me, and I talked to her and I said, you know, I've been told that you're really sharp with marketing and I'd like to offer you a job. And she said, I'm not looking for a job. And I said, well, I understand you're really good with marketing, and would you consider being a consultant? And she said, well, who am I to tell you about your business? And that was, you know, kind of interesting. Because after we got married, she's been telling me everything about my
business. Women power.
Oh, everybody look north. You gotta see my horses as they go by. Yeah, that's my show team. I'm getting ready for the draft horse show at the end of the month. Yeah, they're beautiful, beautiful. Anyway, Mary brought quite a few people with her into Young Living at that time. And some of you know Vaughn Harding, she was one of them. And Jean Marie Hepworth, and many that came with Mary. But it was really interesting. So as I got acquainted with her a little bit, and then I moved the company here in November of '93, and her and her mother and many of her distributors come and volunteered to help unload the truck and get things set up. And Mary volunteered to work in the office to help get the office organized and the accounting and bills and things. It was a mess. And take care of that for me so I could make formulas and travel and teach and do those things. But I noticed that she wasn't really building her organization at that time. And I come to realize that, you know, most people, when they build a strong organization once, that they don't seem to have the same pizzazz to do it a second time. But Mary taught me something, and that was the law of duplication. And she was very simple with her presentations. She was very simple how she shared with people, so anybody could copy what she did and what she taught, and it was very interesting. But then she failed her own philosophy because she loved the oils and she wanted to go to the top, but she was kind of burned out from building for years. But she devised a way to get to the top. But it just didn't turn out to be too duplicatable. She said to me not too long ago, she says, honey, do you realize if I was still a distributor, I'd have the biggest organization in the company? And I looked at her and I said, well, where do you think you're positioned? So anyway, it's been a grand experience, but as we have built and gone forward and watching things materialize and manifest, to see how it has supported each of you and my world travels. And yes, there's been some of those travels, and the one was in November 2009 when I got bit in the Amazon jungle, which has led to what I'm dealing with now. And there's been a lot of hard times, a lot of sacrifices, as people call it. I like to refer to as exchange. There's trades for everything that goes through life, and there's things to be learned from everything in life. And this has been an incredible teaching experience and learning experience on every level. And there's many things that will come out of it as a result of what I've been going through that will benefit millions of people to come. And that's what learning is all about. If you can learn and someone else can benefit from it and it be passed on to others, then it continues to grow and have great value. But folks, where is it all for you? What is the reason that you're here, and why are you so motivated to be out there sharing and teaching? Is because you see it work not only in your own life, but in the lives of your family members and friends around you. This is not something that you have to be hyped up about to share with somebody. You get hyped up about it because it changed your life. It changed your family. It changed your friends. And that's what purity is all about. And you're all old enough and you've been around enough to know that whatever is pure and good is always attacked. And the greatest teacher of all times has been the greatest person attacked in the world, and still 2,000 years is under attack. And all great teachers are attacked, and all pure things and good things are attacked. It's just the way evil flows. But what does it do for us? When we're under attack, it makes us stronger. We realize what we have and we appreciate it. It makes us stronger. It makes us more committed to fight for what's right and what's true. Our world is in a world of hurt right now, and you all know it. And we need to stand strong. And we need to stand strong in unison in our beliefs and in our morals and what we're all about, because that's the only thing we can leave to our children and our grandchildren. And it's us and our example that leads this world. And I've always said, and Mary can remember 20-some years ago, I said, Young Living will be the company that will set the moral standards and the leadership for the world. And I truly know that and live that every day the best I can. And folks, the farms are our foundation. And yes, I could have grown Young Living much faster with all the sales and marketing things and spent money there instead of on farms. But I'll tell you right now, if I had done that, you'd be using synthetic oils and it wouldn't be called Young Living. Because I wouldn't compromise my quality, because I have a different commitment about it. You know, God gave me back my life a couple of times, and He's done it again. And I made a strong commitment to Him that I would only work in His energy. Amen. And I would only deal with the purest that is humanly possible to have on this planet. And I don't care who slanders me and who tells me that we got adulterated oils. It ain't never happened. It ain't ever going to happen. And I have invested in the most expensive laboratory in the United States to assure you of the quality of oils that you have. And my, I don't know where Janae went to. Oh, there she is. My sweetheart Janae over here, our CFO, will attest to what I have spent. And yes, that money could have gone other places, into fancy marketing and sales and, you know, maybe a yacht or whatever, but it didn't. We put our money where our mouth is, and that's in purity, and to prove our quality is never compromised for any reason whatsoever, regardless of all of the people out there attacking us. And if I don't have an oil that I'm satisfied with, if I have an oil that's shipped to me that I won't give Jacob or Joseph or Mary, it doesn't go to you either. Because unlike some people say that Gary has a little distillery in his horse barn and makes his own oil for family, it's not true. And you can all come to my horse barn and look. But Mary picks her oils up from the same shelf you get yours that goes to our family that we use internally, topically, and aromatically every single day. And that's what I stand on, and we don't compromise. And that's why I set the foundation of developing farms to start with, because I knew the time would come. If we didn't have farms, we wouldn't have the quality of oil. And I can tell you now, if I hadn't invested 26 years ago in the farm in France, we would not have lavender oil. All right? I started that little farm in 1991 in France on 50 acres, and now we're farming 3,500 acres of lavender in France. And we would have run out of lavender oil 7 years ago if we hadn't had this farm to add to it. So those are the things that I saw many years ago, the same as our goldenrod, our chamomile, as we're expanding and continuing to expand to give you the support for those things that you need. But farming is the foundation of Young Living, because that is your guarantee that you not only will have the quality, but you will have the quantity that's needed for the future for you to grow. When I started Young Living, I didn't look at Young Living as being a $500,000 company or a $500 million company. I looked at Young Living as being a $20 billion company. And I set the foundation for that growth from that very first day, and that's where I put my energy and our focus to that. And so we will always will, those things will come first, your supply and the quality of your supply. Those are the two primary sources for me, and where I put my energy and efforts to make sure that's there, so you never have to spend your time looking over your shoulder wondering. You can stay focused forward in knowing what you have. And that's why we do what we do. Now, a lot of people have said, well, Gary, why do you have the show horses? Gary, why do you have the Western town? Why do you have all these other things? Well, let me tell you. How many of you got kids? Yes, okay. Then just think about this. If all that was here were just fields and mechanic shop for the tractors and equipment, and you brought your kids down here because you want to come and see the fields and the distillery, how many of your kids are going to be pulling on your shirt, Mom, when are we going home? True or false? Absolutely. And I knew that years ago. So I built all of this so when the kids come, you would be the one, come on, let's go home. It's time to go. And the kids say, no, I don't want to go yet, Mom, there's too much. And we watch that every time we have an event here. And it's exciting, and it's a testament to me, because this is not just about you and I. This is about our children. I want them to be invested in Young Living as much as you are. Because what we have doesn't exist in this world. And if your children don't buy into it, it makes it harder for you. True or false? And that's why I've done what I've done in St. Mary's and here and everywhere, Ecuador. So when you take your families and go visit a farm, there's something for the children to do. So they can feel part of it. So when you go, they don't resent it, just like Kids Camp at Convention. I created that for that same very reason. We raise them up and it becomes their life, it becomes their lifestyle. And that's how we change the world, is by teaching it to our children and letting it become their lifestyle. Where for us who came into it as Johnny come lately, we have to adapt to that new way of life. But it's just like my boy, last night he had a headache, Joseph. He come up and, because he was playing too hard and he got a little dehydrated, he come up and laid down on the couch, put his feet in my lap and says, Dad, I got a headache, can you help me? He didn't ask for an aspirin.
No.
He didn't ask for Tylenol.
Nope.
He asked for oils. Because that's all he knows. Okay? And so I worked a little oils into his feet, and his headache was gone, and went sound asleep. That's what it's all about. Because we can do things, and what does that do? Not only was his headache gone, he relaxed, he slept, but he didn't have toxic poison in his body from taking a pill. He was God's medicine. And those are the things that our children are growing up and learning. And just think how much easier it'll be now for your grandchildren that come along, because that was part of their life from their parents who grew up as children with the oil. And so the whole thing is a foundation to start an evolutionary or revolutionary change in the way that we have been raised and believe that we have to live to deal with problems. And the peace it creates, the peace it brings in the knowing that you have something that can give you more than what man has created. And nothing will ever compensate for what God gave us from the very beginning. Never will. So there's a lot of beautiful things there that is very, very exciting. So while you're here, it is a little bit wet out there, but by golly, you know, it takes water to grow you. Well, don't be afraid to get wet in the Utah rain. This is a little unusual for this time of the year. We've had more rain this year than Utah has seen in history. I hope it continues, because I'm looking forward to the deep snow for my sled dogs and snowmobiling this winter. But a lot of wonderful things. So folks, I just want to acknowledge each of you for your accomplishments and what you have brought to Young Living. I want you to know how important you are to all of us and the value that you are. You're not just a silver. You're a Royal Crown Diamond. Every one of you sitting here. And I see you all there. And not just today, but every day. And I want you to know that even though we don't get to see you, we don't get to personally know you, which has been the difficult thing for me, because in the early days, I knew everybody. I knew their first name, their last name, their middle name. I knew their children. And I don't have that privilege anymore, because it's a little hard to keep track of 1.7 million of you and all your children. That's just active members. That's not the family members. So when you think about our numbers in Young Living, 1.7 monthly active members and an average of 4 members per family, what does that translate to? That's a few folks sitting at the breakfast table. You know, and that's pretty darn exciting. We are making an impact in this world, a big impact, and it's just starting. And that ripple effect will never stop. It will just get bigger and bigger and bigger as we grow. And it's amazing, even the Direct Selling Association, who are headquartered in Denver, called, I don't know, Gary, was it last year, and wonder what my secret was? They called and wanted to interview me and asked what my secret was to the fact that Young Living, 25 years, is still the strongest and fastest growing company in the United States. And I wouldn't interview with them. So they called a friend of mine that used to work in Young Living that has his own company as a consultant now. And he was pretty excited because he thought they were calling to interview him. And some of you might remember John McGarry that worked for Young Living a few years ago, and he has his own consulting business now. We've remained good friends. And he called to tell me, he says, Gary, I got so excited when they called me and asked if they could interview me. And he said, boy, I thought this was great. You know, I just got my business started 2 years ago, and it's starting to grow. And he says, and then I found out after we started talking, they didn't want to interview me about what I was doing. Because I worked for you, they wanted to interview me about you. And so I told him, I says, well, why aren't you calling Mr. Young? Well, he won't do an interview with us. And we just kind of want to know what his secret is for the continued growth, because we've never seen this in the history in direct selling or multi-level selling, ever. And he says, there is no secret. He says, Mr. Young found a product that works, and he services people. Simple as that. And that's because we have always put you before money. I've always put product, quality, before money. And I have said to my team over and over, we're not about selling for profit. We're about selling for purpose. And sometimes we come to the round table and Janae and her team said, Gary, the profit margin's pretty tiny. And I said, so what? You know, we do what we have to do to make it work. But product, quality, and purpose comes first, and always will. Now, with that said, I've got some beautiful people here that I'd like to bring up on stage, my employees that are here today. We can get them all up here. Oh, come on. Now, this is a very small number, naturally, since we have nearly 3,000. But what I really want you to know from me is I started Young Living, and actually the foundation began in 1983 when I made what is now called Multigreen. Originally it was called Vitagreen, and Comfortone, and Diroman, and ICP. Those were products I made in 1982, 83, 84. In 1984 was when I put essential oils in Multigreen. The first product to have essential oils in it was Multigreen. All right? And it was really interesting because I mixed all of the formulas by hand in my apothecary back then. And when I got the idea to try and put oils in, I thought, well, that's not a problem. So I put them in a glass bottle and I sprayed it into the big mixing bowl as I was stirring, and it just made a ball of clumps. And I spent hours and hours trying to smash those clumps down and get it mixed in until I finally built the machine that would spin it at 3,800 RPMs, and the nozzle that I could spray the oils into. Anyway, so I designed a machine that infuses the oils into your product. But with all of that, it's just been an incredible journey. But this is what I want you to take home. In all those years, since 1983 to today, I've never had a greater team of people around me than I have to this day. And I don't know why it took so long for me to attract the best people in the world, but maybe it was a filtering process, because you know that old adage, you got to get the chaff out of the wheat. And we went through a lot of chaff. But boy, we're down to the einkorn now. It's just, I am so proud of my people, each one of them, because of what they've brought to Young Living, their commitment, their dedication, their loyalty, their love. It's so harmonious in our office and to work, and I don't have to spend my time looking over my shoulder and being a spy trying to see who's sticking me in the back, as it has been in the past, and it has just been such a joy. And that is another factor, and as important as the product, the quality of the people around us and collectively together that creates that harmonious energy to keep things moving and flying forward. And I'm going to say this, folks, you're not going to see the growth in Young Living slow down. You're going to see it speed up. Okay? And now with that said, I want you to keep this in mind. Because of it, we don't manufacture oils in the laboratory. So when Valor runs low, we don't go in the laboratory and make it. If an oil runs low, we have to wait till the next crop season comes in. So as we grow, you're going to see some oils run short, just because the wild crafting cannot keep up to our growth anymore. And we have to keep evolving more farmland, more production. And some of the countries now are even shutting down wild crafting because the people are raping the land. An example is Croatia with the helichrysum. For years they just pulled the helichrysum out of the ground by the roots until now the production of helichrysum has dropped off 80% in Croatia. That's why I don't know if you knew this, I invested in a farm in Croatia in 1996 because I knew it was going to happen. And then the war broke out and we lost everything. And so I went back and had to start over. Now we've just taken on more land and we're nearly 500 acres of land in Croatia today to farm helichrysum. Okay? We have set a standard in the world. Farmers all over the world now are coming to Young Living and want to know if they can be a partner with us to grow for us because we have set the standard for excellence. And we will always continue to do that. And we've got the people now that supports me in doing that. Mark here and the good guy in the white hat, he hired on to be my pilot. And I have to tell you a little story about Mark. We tried to hire him, Kelly can tell you, when he flew the plane out from back east for me to check it out, a Cessna Conquest, yeah, I've got too many planes. Anyway, so he flew it out so I could check it out, and we flew, I was in Highland at the Harvest, and we flew down and, you know, did a little fly-in, and I liked the plane, and so he went back to Florida where he was working as a mechanic for an aviation company that he'd been with for a few years, and I called him and offered him a job, and he said, no, I've got a good position, and my home is here. But I thought, okay, there's more than one way to get to a person's heart, you know. So I went through 4 other pilots, and none of them worked out for me. So I had another one that applied from Virginia, and he flew out. So I called Mark, and I said, Mark, would you come out and give this guy a check ride? Well, yeah, I suppose I could work that out. So he came out, and we flew to Fort Nelson. And I won't go into the details, but the guy wasn't for me. And when we got in Fort Nelson, I said to Mark, I said, well, Mark, what do you think? And he says, well, he's not going to take my job. So he's been here ever since, and his wife is moving out from Florida. Just beautiful people, but, you know, I don't fly every day, so Mark was getting bored with sitting around waiting for me to fly. So he said, well, Gary, what can I do to help you? Yeah. So he's the VP of Global Farms now. And sometimes pilot. So it is. Everyone, I could spend all day just talking about all these beautiful people here. It's just fabulous. But, yeah, no, I get big PI syndrome. You better believe it because I'm so proud of my team. And what they've brought to all of you and will continue to bring to all of you is the support, the dedication. If you could just be a fly on the wall in our meetings and watch these folks in the office at 10 o'clock at night still pounding out on the computers or whatever and just taking care of problems and preparing budgets, future projections and new ideas and Mike. Now all of you know Dr. Buki. We call him Buki. He's been a blessing to me. I said this to Mary driving home from the office yesterday. I said it is so rewarding for me to have people that when I say I'd like this to happen, they don't say, well, okay, we'll see. They say, it's done. Jared was the one that brought that attitude to the office 6 years ago. And when he just sat down and says, Gary, what do you want to see happen? And I gave him 6 pages of notes, and he has fulfilled every single one of them. Okay? And not one single time did he say, Gary, I don't think we can do it. He would always say, it's done, or we'll find a way to make it happen. And that's what I love about my team. Nobody pushes back. They say, we'll find a way, even when it doesn't seem possible. Amen. Folks, everything in this world is possible when you have a desire in your heart and you have a concept in your mind, you put those two things together, there is nothing more powerful force inside of you. And then when you bring God into the equation as your partner with the essential oils to amplify your energy, nothing is impossible. Okay? And that's what we have up here. We have a team that supports you 1,000%. And I want you to know it because the folks behind the scenes are the ones that get the least accolades or the least recognition, and yet they're the powerhouses. They're carrying all this responsibility. You know, I may be the visionary. I have the ideas and the concepts and the thoughts and that. But if I didn't have these folks behind me, it would be for nothing. It would be for nothing. The same for all of my teams on the farms and the ranches we have. And it's just expanding. We are so excited. You know, we're just working a deal to add another 12,000 acres to the ranch up in Tabiona where we're growing einkorn. We got so many beautiful things in the works for you. I better not get started. Well, it's just great. So all of my people, Matt back here, who's the head of our legal team, you know, I think he gets so frustrated at me because compliance needs to go south. But he is there as a guardian at the gate for every one of us. Because folks, if we don't follow and adhere to those things, they will shut us down. They want every reason to take us out. Because what we're doing is changing the world. Okay? So we need Matt and his team of people. And yes, sometimes it frustrates the heck out of me because I'm from the old school. But by golly, when we get 50 million distributors in the United States, we'll march on the White House. It takes masses of people collectively together in the same purpose to make changes. And that's what we're building, that's what we're growing. And we have a president in the White House now that wants to make changes and bring America back. And thank God for that. And he may not be doing everything right, but he's doing more right than has been done in 50 years. So we need to support that as well. And look at where it really is going, because there's a lot of things on the horizon that can be different. But all of my team, Lauren, most of the people don't know you. This little lady, her husband is around here someplace. Yeah. We hired Lauren last year, and then after working with her, we realized we had to bring her husband on board so he could keep track of her. But these two folks have just been absolutely dynamite for us in the supply chain, and Todd now in the world global marketing and working with Ben and the team out there. It's just everybody has just been magical. This little lady has done more for us in our supply chain than we've had in 20 years. And so, Lindy, who is, she's been with me. In fact, I think, Lindy, was your first job?
My second job.
Second job.
CNA first.
Oh yeah, but that's when she was 16. Now she's 21. You've been with us how many years? 16 years. You know, what a joy. We've watched her grow, Mary and I, up through the ranks. And she started in the call center taking all the complaints. She really worked hard so she could get out of the complaint department. But it's been a joy. Another sweetheart has just been Mary and I's companion. Kelly's been with us 16 years. 17 years. Wow. It's hard to believe because she only looks like she's 17. But I just, yeah, we just have such beautiful people, and these little gals are like my daughters to me more than employees, and they just take such good care of me. And so you look at Kelly and Lindy and Lauren and Janae and Mary, these women surround me. And I've said this before, I'm probably the most perfect man on earth. because I'm surrounded with all these women telling me what to do. I can't make a mistake. Well, anyway, it's just part of the great team. Hey, if you're not on the edge, you're taking up too much space. Well, Peter, who joined us this year in London, taking over there. How many are here from Europe? How many European distributors? Fantastic. Okay. Well, I just want to acknowledge Peter for stepping in and taking over an incredible mess that we had in Europe. And the stability that Peter has brought to our European market has been fabulous. All of you are seeing the changes, the progress, the growth, the excitement that's taking place in Europe. And it's just because part of that team coming together in unison and in single purpose. And folks, it's not about me. I say this to all my team members. It's not about me being right. It's about all of us collectively doing what's right for you. And that's what I stand for. And it's just great to have Peter join our team and be part of that collective effort to do what's right for all of you in Europe. Okay? Well, thank you. And where is Brittany? I told her to get on stage. Ben, jump up here. So some of you know Ben. Yeah. Ben worked for Young Living years ago back in the shipping department when we were in Payson. And then he thought Young Living was too small then. So he went off into the world to spread his wings and realized that after he traveled the world for a couple of other companies, he left what was the best. Right, Ben? It's good to be home. You bet. So, yeah, it's good to have him back. Brittany, another beautiful lady that stands with all of, isn't it? Are you guys jealous of me? I'm surrounded by the prettiest and the most intelligent women in the world. And that includes all of you ladies out there, too. But Brittany is the head of our events. It's just what I've watched this little lady do in cutting costs and getting excellence has just been absolutely fabulous. How many of you were at convention? Oh, was that amazing? Oh, I'll tell you, I got so nervous before convention was over because I thought for sure she'd become a wino. Well, people at that convention center just about drove this little lady crazy. But she never backed down, even though at times they practically put her into tears as the things that she had to fight to make happen. And these are things, folks, you don't see out in the field because there's no way you can see it. But I want you to know that she's just another cog in the wheel that fights for you, that fights for your events, to have the best outcome always. Okay? We love this little lady, everybody. So I can spend all day up here bragging about my people, but that's not what you're here for. But I just want you to know how proud of them I am. And jump up here, son. Oh, this is my youngest son. He's homeschooling. Jacob is in high school, so he decided to go back to regular school so he could do some more sports this year. So he's involved in that. And he just had a concert last Monday night that was just absolutely stunning. For a young man has a voice that comes from his mom. And it's just magical. But this little guy is a champion chess player and soccer player. And last year he defeated the Russian Grandmaster in a chess match. They've got beautiful talent, and it's beautiful to see him growing up. And Jacob works in the IT department. He's taking his training. And I told the boys they had to work from the ground up, and every department in Young Living to be ready to be the next CEO, COO, or whatever in the time.